As soon as you jump into the Illuvium website, you can now go and make a team on the team builder. You can see it right here up the top. You just go to Illuvium Arena, then hover over that, hit team builder, and you are there. Then to make a new team, all you need to do is hit create team, make test team, or whatever else you might want to call it. Hit create, and off you go into building a team. But what I have done is I've started crafting some really interesting analysis that will help you build your team. And if you want to learn more about team building and get ahead of the curve, this video is going to be the one for you. And at the end, I'm also going to share a spreadsheet that will help you better analyze the best way to approach team building for your particular playstyle. As we've seen Grant and Kieran duking it out in Discord streaming recently, but what's more important is we saw how the rounds are structured. And thankfully, Taran actually allowed the influencers and other people to spread information about how the rounds will actually work. And let's talk about that right now. So what we have right here is we have the round 1, 2, 3 through to 10. Now you probably won't reach 10. And you've got the mastery given to you each round. What notably, the first 2 rounds are 100, then 120, 140, 160, 180, and then 200 from then onwards. Again, you probably won't reach that far. So really, by about round 5, you've had about 620 mastery points to spend. For a frame of reference, you can fill out 5 pieces in your board with T5 stage 3s with that amount of mastery alone. So it's actually pretty decent, and you're probably not going to lose by about round 5. You might lose on round 4. Between round 4 and 6 is where a winner will be decided, as far as I can tell. So what I'm taking a look at here is how you can best optimize this. Now, this spreadsheet's very simple. It doesn't hug augments yet. It's very rudimentary. But what I'm using it to tell me is if I place a tier 2 stage 1 alluvial and a tier 4 stage 2 alluvial, what does that actually look like in terms of my mastery point? And with this spreadsheet, you can do just that, and it's very easy to use. For example, my alluvial 1, I could change this to a T3 stage 1, and then you'll be able to see on the right-hand side here that over under, I've actually got 5 negative mastery points. So I overspent my mastery points by 5, so I cannot include that alluvial on round 1 on my board. Now I've kept my round 1 and round 2 very similar, but then I've started to mix it up at about round 4. But basically what you can see here is after I put all this in, you can see my deck components here, and these are all the different kinds of alluvials I used in the deck to see how diverse it is and how many alluvial slots I need out of my 28 card deck. 28 unit team. Sorry, apologies. So you've got T2 S1, T4 S2, a lot of the higher end tiers and stages, because at the end, I just had so much to spend. And again, I have no augments in here. If anyone was curious, this is actually the mastery cost for all the different things. You can see 30, 40, 55 for the tier 1s, 35, 50, 65 for the tier 2s. You can see that's a 10 jump from all the previous ones, except for T2 stage 1, which is only a 5 jump. Tier 3 stage 1, 2, and 3, also about a 10 jump from previous. Tier 4 stage 1, 2, and 3, again similar. And Tier 5 stage 1, 2, and 3 is by far the most interesting. Now, as I was going through this, trying to figure out what best to use in my deck, I couldn't help but notice there's actually nothing here costs 60. I believe legendary augments and some augments might be able to cost 60, but I can't remember. But there's pretty much nothing that costs 60 in the game. So one of the hardest things that might be to play, since it's 100 mastery for the first 2 rounds, is actually going to be a T3 S1, a tier 3 stage 1, something like your Riptor. Because you cannot pair it up with any cost 60 things. So you're always going to be wasting a little bit of mastery points, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now you could pair it up with 2 30 costs or a 30 cost Illuvium or 30 cost augment. So there's definitely ways you can go about it. But on rounds 1 and 2, it's going to be a little bit harder to place those 2 alluvials and have your T3 stage 1 actually come out. So keep that in mind. That might be the one thing you take away from this video. So as you can see here, I started off with a tier 2 stage 1 and a tier 4 stage 2. They're quite balanced. There's a lot of really great tanks in the stage 2s and a lot of really decent damage dealers in the stage 1 links and some other tier 2 stage 1s. After that, I actually started adding some interesting pieces to my board, keeping it relatively small with these 3 here, and then adding in the tier 5 stage 2 as my bigger piece on the board. As I went to round 2, what I decided to do was do a tier 2 stage 1, your links or whatever, tier 4 stage 2, maybe like the Singer's evolution, the middle stage, Tier 5 stage 2, I'm not sure. Maybe like Sinelf, the middle stage of the shrimp line. Tier 1 stage 3, something like an Axodon. Then maybe something like a Scoriox. And you've got a really good backline, a really good front line, and a great diversity in power. Obviously, there's all positioning and everything else, but I just thought this might be a really cool tool to help you really understand how to best optimize every single turn in the game. And who knows, you might actually be able to use this spreadsheet while you're playing to better understand. Obviously, I'll upgrade it in the future, give it things like augments and other items, legendary augments, all the rest of it. And you'll be able to use this as a really helpful tool as you're playing Illuvium. If you liked this video and you want to see more things like this, if you want me to upgrade this thing, please let me know down in the comments down below.